Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can find us on the web, caltoncutlery.com. I did a review a couple weeks ago about the Benchmade 940 Osborne. So on the tails of that one, today I'm going to do a review on my other pocket knife. I carry 3 knives every day. You know, the Benchmade, and then one of my own testers, usually a small fixed blade like a neck knife or something like that. Usually the neck knives I keep on I run the neck cord through the eyelets on the sheath to make a belt loop and then carry it on my belt. And then the last one is, here I'll show you one of the victorinox tinkers. I guess right now I'll go ahead and show you how I carry that. The neck knife should carry that on my belt. The Benchmade's just in the corner of the pocket and everything. Let's see. And I'm going to have to apologize in advance. I'm going to show you my my rear end. I know nobody wants to see that, but that's how I carry the knife, and it carries really well like this. Hopefully I'll be on camera here. Anyway, I usually wear Wrangler jeans, and I carry it right here next to my wallet. So in my back pocket there, the knife sits right like that. Right like that in my back pocket. And that keeps it from, going all over the place or carrying it in my front pocket. Anyway, that's just kind of a personal preference on how I like to carry that particular knife. So what I've got here today is I've got 2 of them. A pretty much brand new one in black. It's not kind of nice. And then the one I've been carrying for the last, I don't know, however long. You can see they're the same size. The only difference is the color. This one's red, of course, and it's got the emblem of a place I used to work for, Dino Noble. Interesting thing about this is that they gave me this knife as a safety award one of the last couple of years that I worked there, and now you can no longer carry a pocket knife at that place because I guess knives are unsafe. Go figure, huh? Anyway, so we'll just go ahead and open up all the blades here. It's not too often I open up all the blades at the same time, and it's kind of prickly, I guess, like that. So I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with the Victorinox Tinker. You've got your large blade, can opener, slash Phillips head screwdriver, flathead, can opener. I guess that's supposed to be a wire stripper. I never really use it. The small blade, which this one's been reground, and I'll go over that in a second. The awl, or a hole puncher. It's got a little hole in there if you wanted to stitch some heavy leather up, I guess. And then the Phillips head screwdriver, and there's something special about that here in a second also. I like this one instead of the one that's got the corkscrew on it. And then of course it's also got the let's just close it up so I don't cut myself. And on the other end it's got the tweezers and the toothpick. The toothpick is fine just as it is. The tweezers, I always found that if you sharpen them, that they work an awful lot better. That way, if let's say you've got a splinter somewhere or other in your hand, and you're trying to pull that splinter out, well, with them sharpened, then you can actually make a little cut, to be able to cut the sides of the splinter out, and then grab a hold of them and pull them out. I probably use those tweezers, I'd say, at least a couple of times a week. The toothpick, maybe not quite so often, something like that. Now, the modifications that I do to one of these right out of the box. I've probably had, well, I've been carrying this type since I was a kid, so I don't know, a long time. Anyways, when these come from the factory, they've got a little loop right there, like what you would put it on a keychain. And that usually digs into my hand quite a bit when I'm really using the smaller blade. So I just grind those off. I do sharpen the tweezers. The only other modification I make to them is on the small blades. That is a factory one, kind of a spear point, and I regrind those and then rebevel them to make them more like a Warncliffe. I apologize, I did look for the book that I got this idea out of, and I couldn't find it. It's a book on whittling. The guy goes through whittling things like whistles and ball and cages, you know, chains, things like that. And I was hoping to find the book so that I could give him credit, but Google search would probably find it pretty quick. Anyways, you know, reshaping that blade to this style, not only does it make it more pointy for more detail work and stuff, it also makes it better for whittling and for just general whatever you would use this very small blade for here. I also, you can see the edge bevels there. Edge bevel on this one is probably about 10 thousandths of an inch wide. On this one it's maybe a little bit less than like 3/16 of an inch wide, something like that. Now it does thicken the blade up here when you grind that much of the blade away, so that's why the wider edge bevels. On these you can't really go excuse me, you can't grind them too thin because the steel's a little bit softer and it won't really support that type of a grind. But this modification right here works really well. And it turns your normal everyday carry pocket knife into a handy dandy whittler, so you can do, like, you know, the ball in a cage. Here's a chain. Of course, you know, these two are carved out of a single piece of wood. I'm sure everybody's seen that already. When my boy was in grade school, I used to make these Santa pencils. I'd just grab I think they came in 24 pack at Walmart. They had green and red and purple, and I think there was another color, but anyway, you just whittle Santa's face in there, and then, you know, wood burn a couple of things, give him some white paint for his beard and mustache and everything, and then I'd whittle up, I don't know, like 100 of them or so, and then give them to all the kids in my boy's class, and then you know, hand out a couple more to the principal to give to kids when they're having a good day or a bad day, you know, whatever. The kids seem to like them. And then, you know, here's a couple of little figurines, I guess, I whittled with that little pocket knife. So it turns it into a fairly handy whittling blade slash the whole thing, you know, that you carry with you every day. Let's see, so that's the little blade, the tweezers. Okay, now this right here, this screwdriver, instead of the corkscrew, this is the reason that I've had, oh, I don't know, like I said, half a dozen or maybe 10 of these things over the years, is because this screwdriver right here, with that style of blade manufacture, that is, it's a good idea, but you have to use it in the context of what the whole blade or the whole package is, okay? So anytime you have something with a T-handle where you can get your whole hand on that thing, you can put an awful lot of twisting force on that, you know, because you've got 2-inch or 1.5-inch levers on each side of it. Now the thing to remember is that, you know, that is just held in place by a single pin, you know, that goes through and is pinged on both sides before they glue the handle scales back on. So to put a tool like this that you use an awful lot of twisting force on with that style of mounting, I don't know how many of these I've actually twisted that pin off putting too much force on this. So, you know, while that's a really good screwdriver, don't overdo it. So when you put that in there, be very be paying close attention as to how much force you're putting on there. And you know, if you start feeling any of this kind of giving a little bit, then back off. Otherwise, you'll twist this thing right. You'll twist it inside there, and it'll screw the knife up. So there's that. The rest of it, the can openers, the screwdrivers, you know, Victorinox has done a really good job on this particular knife. Probably all of them, you know, with regards to that, you know, like this is a screwdriver, you know, the Phillips head portion of it is. So you take a folding slip joint knife that really isn't all that strong laterally, you know, this way or this way, and you make a good usable tool out of it. You know, you just got to remember, hey, this thing isn't a dedicated, you know, it's not a dedicated screwdriver with a good handle on it. But it is a nice, easy to carry package. You know, I carry this with me every day. I don't carry you know, a normal fixed blade screwdriver with me every day. The larger blade, it's one of those, it's kind of in between. Typically I use this blade for rougher use, that I don't want to damage the edge on my my 940 or my necker with. So let's say I'm you know, replacing a water pump in a truck or something, and you know, I forgot to grab a gasket scraper, and I'm already up underneath there. You know, I'll pull this one out and scrape the gasket off. Part of the reason why this blade, or this whole package, does so well with that lateral force is that the steel is fairly soft. I mean, it's not going to win any competitions in edge holding, and it is stainless steel, so it's not going to be as tough as, you know, a good high carbon steel, at least not in my mind. But it is plenty tough enough for you know, most daily tasks. And so the blades are going to be the same way, you know. I mean, they'll generally bend before they snap off, and you know, that's kind of handy. I mean, you know, the whole package is what it is. I mean, without doing like a differential heat treat on these blades, I think they've come really, really close to about perfection for this this style of knife. Let's see, so I went over what I use the big blade for the most. You know, I think that's about it. The awl is kind of the same way. I mean, I've never used it for sewing anything, so the hole inside there, I've never really, you know, used that. But for drilling holes, boy, that works really well. You know, if you got to drill a hole to, you know, if you got to, you want to drive a screw into a piece of hardwood in kind of an awkward to reach place, you know, to get your screw gun up in there. You know, a lot of times you can just whip this out, you know, get a little hole started where you want the screw to go, put the screw in, and then drive it in right quick with your normal screwdriver. But they work pretty good. Like I said, I usually keep a spare on hand just to save me a trip to the store in case you know, I break one of them. The quality control on them I've found to be really good. You know, I've never bought one of them and had any kind of weird surprises, you know, like individual tools snapping off, or you know, the edge not holding up to what I would consider proper use for this style of blade at that hardness and everything. They've all been really consistent for me over the years. And like I said, I've had quite a few of them. I've got one of them around here somewhere that I twisted the Phillips head screwdriver off of, and I was going to go ahead and make new blades for the thing, or at least, you know, a new primary and a second, or you know, the knife blades for it. But of course I never got around to that. Anyways, oh, I guess you can see you might want to see the amount of wear that this one's had on the, see, kind of a decent amount. There's probably, I don't know, a 1/16 of an inch, something like that, worn off this blade since I've been carrying it. Another nice thing about these knives that I mentioned in the 940 video is how friendly they are. So, you know, the big, you know, your big, larger kind of everyday carry knives, you know, is how fast they are and everything. That freaks an awful lot of people out. If you need to cut something in, say, an office or a school type setting, something like that, you know, you bring out this big knife, whip it out, especially the spring assisted ones, and you know that tends to freak out an awful lot of non-knife people. But these Victorinox Swiss Army knives with their nice, you know, bright red color and all their multi-tools and everything, they just seem an awful lot more friendly in those types of situations. And generally speaking, in an office or a school or you know, that sort of setup, doing utility work, you're not going to need something like this very often. You know, more than likely you're going to need a screwdriver or, you know, the awl to punch a hole in maybe the top of a coffee cup, something like that. So anyway, these are just amazing little knives. I guess, hey, I'm a knife maker and I carry one of these every day, so that's a pretty strong endorsement. And I think they sell for, I don't know, 20, 25 bucks, something like that. Anyway, so if you don't have one of these, pick one of them up, give it a try, or don't, either way, you know. But they're just a handy little pocket knife. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.